Okay, sounds good.
Welcome to this episode of The More You Know, a series of short videos produced by the Pennsylvania Link to Aging and Disability Resource Service Area 13 partners. Service Area 13 consists of Berks, Lebanon, and Lancaster counties, and it's one of 15 areas across the Commonwealth that exist to provide long term living information and resources for persons over the age of 60, persons with a disability, veterans, family members, and caregivers. Hello and welcome. My name is Margie Degler Pizarro, your host for this series. I'm a geriatric and palliative care nurse practitioner who is a passionate advocate for abundant living and aging. The Pennsylvania Link to Aging and Disability Resources is part of a nationwide network developed to take a seamless approach in the way that we assist seniors and adults with disability who need help with activities of daily living. When you need long term living information or assistance, call the Pennsylvania Link to Aging and Disability Resource Center toll free helpline at 1 800 753 8827. The title of today's episode is Getting to Know Visiting Angels of York. And with me today is Jill Kaylor. And as always, the purpose for today's interview is to bring a renewed awareness of this service to you and to discuss it in detail so that our service providers, as well as those persons needing this service, have a reliable and up to date source of information. Jill, thank you so much for being here today. Please tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, your role in the company, and if you were to sum up in one or two sentences what Visiting Angels of York is all about, we would love to hear. Thank you for being with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. Like you said, my name is Jill Kaylor. My official title at Visiting Angels is Provider Relations Specialist, but I know for many people that's kind of confusing. So I like to explain that I do the marketing and community education, and we actually have three offices. Um, you mentioned Visiting Angels York. We actually have an office in York and Hanover and our law office in Lancaster. So I have actually been with the company for just shy of 10 years. And prior to that, I've worked in hospice, I've worked in nursing home, personal care home. But I'm really excited to be at Visiting Angels for as long as I've been here. And we're very proud of what we do for our community. We are a company that provides non-medical home care and those types of services to older adults all over Lancaster County. And again, as I mentioned, also York and part of Adams County. And again, we have our office in Lancaster, and we are locally owned and operated. Visiting Angels itself is a franchise, but we are locally owned and operated, and we have offices that cover all across Pennsylvania, the United States, and even all around the world. And locally, our offices are celebrating our 19th year of service to our community.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much. And what you do is so near and dear to my heart because most of my career I was in the community, in the home, providing medical visits to people aging with advanced disease in hospice and palliative care. And I always relied on a team of experts coming into that home, such as your agency. So if you could expound for everyone listening today about all the services you provide, we would just love to hear. Thank you.
You bet. But actually, how we got started locally, our owner, Sue Heinley, she's a registered nurse. She's actually also actively very involved in our day-to-day operations. So she's not just an owner, but she's an owner operator as well. And she started our company back in 2002. She was actually looking for assistance for her own family members. And she found that when she was looking for that type of assistance, there really wasn't a whole lot out there. It was very much limited resources available to our communities. So she wanted to bring care to seniors in their home, and that's actually how we got started locally. We actually started to grow. We became known as one of the premier home care agencies in South Central PA. We were lucky enough to win a number of awards and honors from our community clients and caregivers and earn the respect of our peers. We do work closely actually with other agencies like ourselves. and do cross referrals if we need to as well. So what we do, we provide non-medical services, and just a kind of a explanation of that is we do help with bathing and dressing. We assist people with also any other daily activities, like if they need help, even just brushing their hair, brushing their teeth, those types of things. We help with meal preparation, light housekeeping, medication reminders, even transportation to doctor's appointments or to any type of shopping, whether it's for the holidays or even just a weekly grocery shopping. Other types of errands that are needed, help with personal care and toileting, companionship. We take the dog out, we clean the litter box, we grab the mail. We really do anything considered non-medical to really help individuals who are in their home to stay safe, to stay in their home, which is when you talk to people, that's really where they want to be. That list can go on and on. And we actually care for individuals who might, again, need a transportation to their doctor appointments. That's a very common thing. Maybe a little short-term help, after surgery or after hospitalization or sickness. And we actually care for people daily. Sometimes it's an individual who's just looking for us, maybe just for a short-term type of situation, or just need us for one day and never need us again. So we have basically all ends of the spectrum. We have individuals who need us once and done and never need to use us again. Other individuals that might have us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week coming into the home to help them, and everything in between. And the beauty of non-medical home care is that people can choose to use us as little or as much as they need to. And it really works for them. And we're really proud of our caregivers. I mean, we have a number, just the number is staggering of how many caregivers we have. We're always looking for more caregivers too. There's a huge need in our community, and especially as we've been going through this pandemic for the last year and a half, so many people are turning to the idea and really wanting to, again, stay at home or maybe leave a setting where they were before and try to return to their home-like setting, and are in need of services like what we offer to be able to continue to do that and to stay safe. So we're proud of our caregivers. They go through a lot of training. We are very, very strict and very rigid in our background checks and what we do to make sure that the people that we're bringing on board are the right people to be able to care for those in their homes. So that's really important for us as well.
So from the standpoint of all those services that you offer and the care that you go to take with each of the caregivers that you hire, people can feel very, very safe with visiting Angels. And as they're listening and wanting to get more information, how do they contact you?
So we have obviously a phone number that they can call. It's 717-393-3450. That is our Lancaster office. And certainly if they are looking for services anywhere beyond Lancaster, we are more than happy when they call us, we can help them get connected with the correct office in that area where they're looking for, whether it's our York and Hanover office or whether it's out of the state or somewhere else in Pennsylvania. They can also access us on the web through www.visitingangels.com/Lancaster. That would take them directly to our Lancaster site as well. But if they aren't really sure what office is going to care for them, again, if they're in the Lancaster area, but maybe they're looking for services in Ohio, all they need to do is go to www.visitingangels.com, and then you can put your zip code in, and that zip code will actually bring them to the particular office that covers that area, and that'll give them the phone number. Or there's also a way for them to do an inquiry over the web where they can put their information in, and then the turnaround would be that someone from the office would call them back and answer any of their questions.
And that's important. So many people, especially older people, want that personal touch of a phone call, hearing somebody's voice. So that's great. And
Most
if I
definitely.
was to ask you perhaps of a recent example you could share of how Visiting Angels helped, I'd love to just hear that if you'd like to share.
Absolutely. We have so many case studies, and I hate to make it sound clinical because it's really obviously isn't a clinical situation, but I call them case studies. So many individuals that we've cared for over the years. But I do have one I do want to share with you real quickly. We were asked to care for an individual who, along with their diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease, had some physical issues, needed assistance with her daily activities in the home. She had some behavior issues that came along with her cognitive decline. And the family lived both locally as well as across the country. And they really needed some extra support because this individual could not live alone, by herself. And the family members were working and unable to be there 24 hours a day, and she needed that type of service. So her wish was to stay at home. So the family really wanted to make sure that they could do that for her. And they didn't want to have to worry about having her move into a community. There's some amazing communities across our South Central PA area, but she really wanted to be home. So that's what they wanted to do, keep her at home. And they called us, they had us come in and start providing services. And knowing that she had this diagnosis of dementia, we have a program called Passages where we have caregivers who are specifically trained to better understand dementia, to better understand cognitive decline, and most importantly, to better understand how to take care of individuals that are suffering from that disease. So they were equipped with some different some different tricks and tips, I should say, and tools to be able to provide that support for that person in their home. And one of those things that we actually started using over the last number of years is an iPad program that's specifically for individuals with cognitive decline. And so we were able to bring this iPad into the home. The family could use the iPad, the client could use the iPad, the caregiver could engage the client with the iPad, and they would look at pictures, they would listen to music, they would have, they would actually do video calls with the family members that were living outside of the state and who weren't in the area, look at family photos. There was just so many things that they were able to do. And they found that she not only really appreciated those things, she actually experienced a reduction in some of her behaviors and the challenging behaviors that sometimes she experienced. Once they introduced the iPad, it kind of gave her that calm because she was able to see family, even though she might not have recognized them as much, but she had that connection. She was able to look at pictures of animals that she loved, again, listen to some of her music, and those behaviors were kind of diminished. Just the engagement part was really important for her. And it was really, we heard from this particular family that they had such, like you mentioned earlier, peace of mind. They had such peace of mind knowing that she was safe, she was being cared for. They were able to check in and kind of have some eyes on things. And it really increased her quality of life. So that's just one very small example of a situation where having us come in to care for someone, especially with that cognitive decline, was super important for not only that person, the client themselves, but certainly for the family, and obviously the ones that are living outside of state too.
Oh, Jill, that's such a beautiful story and how you were able to help. So, again, if people want to know how to reach Visiting Angels,
Mhm.
you service our Partners 13 area of Berks, Lebanon, Lancaster, and beyond. How do they best contact you?
Sure. So if they could call our office in Lancaster at 717-393-3450. Again, they don't have to be living in Lancaster. We're happy to connect them with the right office. Visiting Angels, like you mentioned, is all across the state, all across the country. So we can help them get connected with the right office. Or they can go to our website at www.visitingangels.com/Lancaster. Or if they just go to www.visitingangels.com, again, they could input their zip code and it would bring them to the page for that particular office that would service the area that they're looking for.
Thank you. Jill, thank you just so much for this informative presentation and for sharing the more you know from the Pennsylvania Link to Aging and Disability Resource Service Area 13 Partners Network. My name is Margie Degler Pizarro, and I want to thank you for joining us today. Be well, and remember, when you need long-term information or assistance, call the Pennsylvania Link to Aging and Disability Resource Center toll-free helpline at 1-800-753-8827. And Jill, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the little picture here, so if people want to jot that down, they can. And I want to thank you once again for joining us today. It's so important to know these home resources that people and their families can pick from. So thank you.
Thank you.